So when we use the word average, most of us think, you can just add up all the values and divide it by the total number of values, and that gives us the average, right? And when you were told in school that you're an average student, or when you were told that this is the average size of a pencil, all of those numbers take a very specific type of average into account. But did you know that there are 3 different types of averages, right? And in this video, we're going to learn what those 3 different types of averages are and why they're important, right? So let me quickly start with a story about why we invented 3 different types of average, why one type of average wasn't good enough. So imagine a mythical land where there are a lot of mountains and hills. Say there are 15 mountains, right? And all of them have a height of 10 meters. Very tiny mountains. This is like a miniature land, and they're all 10 meters long. And then suddenly at the very ending, there's this one mountain that is 10,000 meters long. Right now, if I came to you and asked you what is the average size of the mountain here, or of mountains here, you would just add up all the tens, and then you would add, the big mountain with the size of 10,000 meters, and then you divide all of it by the total number of mountains. But that outlier mountain, the one with 10,000 meters, the one that was very, very, very tall, was actually skewing your data. So your average is huge, and when a person comes to the place, he might expect to find an average mountain that is pretty tall, but in most of the cases, he's going to find a pretty short mountain, right, which is 10 meters. So we have multiple different types of averages to take cases like this into account. So we're going to learn about the 3 different types of averages in this video. So mean, median, and mode. So all of these are measures of center, and these are called averages, and there are 3 main centers. There's the mode, there's the mean, and there's the median, right? And you've probably learned this before, but let's repeat it. Let's revise it, right? So the mode is the data point that occurs with the highest frequency. So in our last episode's example, we had this, we came across males and females, and we knew that there are 6 males and there are 4 females. And the mode here is male because male occurs with the highest frequency of 6. Note that 6 is not the mode here, but male is the mode, right? Because male is occurring 6 times. So the mode here is male. The mode here is 38 to 42 because it occurs with the highest frequency of 19, right? So the mode here is 38 to 42. The mode is not 19. That's the frequency of the mode, but the mode is 38 to 42. Right? The median. Now this is the next measure of center. The median is the value of the variable in a data set that divides the set of observed values in half so that the observed values in one half are less than or equal to the median value, and the observed value in the other half are greater or equal to the median value. And what this means is very simple, right? Say we have a bunch of different data. You arrange them in ascending order, and then you take a stick and you place them exactly at the center, and that center is the median, right? So the technique is very simple. You arrange all the values in ascending order. If the number of observations is odd, right, then the sample median is the observed value exactly in the middle of the ordered list, right? So if you have the total number of observations as, say, an odd number like 3, or if you have 7, right, then what you do is you just take the middle value, and that is the median. Right? That it's self-sorting. If the number of observations is even, right, which is you have 16 observations or 8 observations or 10 observations, an even number, then the sample median is the number halfway between the 2 middle observed values in the ordered list. Right? So let's take 2 examples. So you have 1, 3, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are an odd number of observations here because you have 1, 3, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? That's 7 observations in total. 7 is an odd number. So what we do is we just take the middle value. We arrange it in ascending order, and then we just take the middle value. And as you can see, it's arranged in ascending order. 1, 3, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. We pull out 6, which is the median value. On the other hand, when you have an even number of observations, and as you can see in the next example, we have an even number of observations. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Right? That's 8 observations. 8 observations is an even number of observations. So what we do is we take the 2 middle observations, that's 4 and 5, we add them up and we divide it by 2. We always divide by 2. right? We take the middle value, which is dividing by 2. So as you can see, the median here is 4.5, right? And I had this question to myself before I created the data science or the statistics part of this series, and I thought, should I make you guys do exercises? Should I make you guys and girls do exercises as we go through the course? And we did some research on this, and we realized that if I make you do too much math, or if I make you sit down and do all of these exercises without explaining to you what the bigger picture is, or just skimming through the notes, then you will quit, right? Because it's just going to get hard, and you're just going to say, look, I don't have the time to do these exercises right now. I'm going to walk away. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the multiple pass learning technique, which is first, we're going to go through just some examples. I'm going to show you the bigger picture. I'm going to show you some simple examples. And then when we get into the homework problems, you'll be able to actually do some math. But we're not going to do any math in any of the episodes. I'm not going to make you sit down and, write anything down or do some mathematics. I'm just going to show you examples and explain it to you, right? So I'm going to save you that trouble. Next, the mean. Now, when people say average, most likely they're talking about mean, right? This is the mean that most people refer to when they say, hey, he's an average student. So it's very simple. You add all the numbers and you divide by the total number of observations, right? So I'm obviously not going to show you how this happens. You guys have been doing average for a very long time. So if you have 10 observations, you just add all the observations and you divide by 10, right? It's as simple as that. It's not a surprise. And most importantly, these 3 measures of center are very important in what we will do next. And the reason for this is because things like mode are very important when you have a lot of outliers. So mode will represent to some random third party, especially when he or she is trying to figure out what am I most likely to come across, right? So if you have, many thousands of people in a room and a lot of them have purple hair and many of them have red hair and many of them have blue hair, but the mode is purple, then if you walk in that room, you are most likely to see somebody with purple hair. Median, for example, is really great to remove outlier values. We had the mountain, which was, huge outlier. The use of things like median allows you to ignore the outliers, right? Or they don't have as much of an impact. Whereas with mean, outliers have a great impact, but mean is great when you have a bunch of values where the frequency of all of those values is sort of similar, right? So you don't have any big outliers, like you don't have a very big mountain or, somebody who's very tall in a sample set. So you'll be able to push out the outliers. With mean, usually you need to first remove the outliers or show them as outlier data and then run your calculations on the rest. With median, you don't have to do that. So for example, if you live in Bangalore and you have a bunch of houses that have a selling price, but there is a specific place in Bangalore, maybe, in MG Road, where the house prices are extremely high, or maybe there's one house that has a very, very high price, that's when you use median, when there are outliers. Otherwise, stick to the mean. Mode is useful when you're representing the most common or the most available characteristic, something that you're most likely to come across. So, like I mentioned, if you're looking at houses in Bangalore and most of the houses are red and some houses are purple, then your mode, which is the highest frequency, is red. So if you just walk into Bangalore, you're very likely to see a red house, right? So that's it for this episode. Catch you in the next.